Hello everyone, this is Rick with TaxDome. Thank you very much for joining us today for our product-focused webinar, where we cover one specific topic in detail for those who have already started using TaxDome. Today's topic is all about how to set up and work with the workflow automation tools within TaxDome. But first, I'm going to switch over to our webinar screen very quickly, which you can find on our main webpage under Resources and Education, and you'll see here the other webinars that we are offering. So you can feel free to register or watch a previously recorded webinar at any time that you like. Now we'll also be adding more as time goes on, so if you do have suggestions for webinars, by all means, please let us know. So let's go back here and get started by walking through our agenda for today. We're going to walk through the difference between a job, a task, and a pipeline. We'll show you how the template library works and how you can set up templates to streamline your work. We'll demonstrate job automations and how to move jobs automatically when all of the tasks are completed. I'll show you how to customize each business process in your office: tax returns, bookkeeping jobs, audits, whatever process you have, you can set up a pipeline for it. We'll show you how to set up a job schedule inside a specific pipeline. Then we'll close things out by discussing our bulk features for starting jobs and editing tasks. So let's get into our jobs, tasks, and pipelines. We'll start with a high-level view, then dig into each one of these. What you see here is the TaxDome workflow system. It starts at the top, creating your pipeline. These are the processes you need to complete. This is what you were hired for and are getting paid to do. For example, you're hired to complete somebody's 1040. You'll set up a pipeline for that process to make sure everything that needs to be done is actually getting done. Each pipeline will then have to go through certain stages. These are the formal steps of the process that need to be completed. How many stages there will be? Well, that's up to you and how many you have in the process that you have set up internally. Now, within those stages are the jobs. This is the customer that you're doing the work for. And inside the jobs are the individual activities or tasks that need to be done, such as sending out an organizer, getting a payment, or maybe emailing them for some additional information. It's totally up to you. So with this structure, you can start with the big picture and work it all the way down to someone who has to complete a task to keep things moving forward. Now, let's hit each one of these in more detail. As I mentioned, a pipeline is a process within your firm. That could be the process needed to complete a 1040 or perform somebody's monthly bookkeeping or to process their payroll, whatever it is you were hired to do. As an example, let's take a 1040 tax return. You'll want to divide that large process into stages, which are fully customizable depending on what you do. In this case, let's say your stages will be document collection, team review, preparation of the returns, and of course, filing of those returns. Okay, great. We've got that all figured out here. So you are now hired by somebody for that job. As you see on this slide, Ross has hired you to complete that work. Then you will see that his job will move through the stages until it's complete. The thing is, each stage may have a few different things that need to be done. Now let's continue that example. You may have to create tasks, ask the client for documents, have them sign contracts, or maybe complete an organizer. There's a lot to getting those jobs moved on through the process, right? Well, that's the beauty of pipelines. You have the ability to set up automations at each stage, which will automatically trigger the things that need to be done. So as you can see, When you automate all of these items, when they're triggered automatically for your team to complete, you save a ton of time, energy, and you'll know that everything is getting done that is supposed to be done. It's actually getting completed without you having to lift a finger. But what if you have some temporary or seasonal help? Can you still use automations? Absolutely you can. Our account access automation tools allow you to add and remove access to seasonal staff to give them temporary access to a client's account during a specific stage in the process. So let's actually walk you through one. But as I do this, I'll bring up a common concern people have, which is, what if my client hasn't activated their account yet? Should I wait until they do that? And the answer is no, do not wait. Even if they haven't activated their own account, you can still start the process and they'll receive these items, and the messages will have a big banner at the top of that email that they receive that says, click here to activate your account. So this will give them the push that they need to get going. So please start sending these out right away. A new pipeline begins, and to complete what's in stage 1, you will have to email a client some information, send out a contract for the customer to sign, then send the invoice so you can get paid. Once those items are complete, it moves automatically, if you wanted to, over to stage 2, where some new tasks will be created for your team to complete, and an email can be sent to let them know that you've started the work. Then, when those tasks are completed, it moves on to stage 3, where you will prepare the return. Then, for the last stage, when the return is done, an email will be sent letting them know that everything is done, and you can add an item to ask them for a review. Now, once all of this is done, the job is complete. Now, you may have noticed a second ago that I said all of this can happen automatically if you want it to. Now, on this screen, you're seeing how you can set any pipeline to automatically move a job from one stage to another when all of the tasks are complete. But let's actually take a few extra minutes to walk you through an example. Let's switch over to this screen, which is showing our portal. I'm going to start by clicking on Settings right here. At the top, you will see Pipelines. For our example today, I'm going to select this one, 1040 with Auto Move, to demonstrate this. Now, what do you see here? Well, when I scroll down just a little bit to the Stages section, you will see the various stages set up for this pipeline. But notice over here on the right that the Auto Move selection has been toggled on for several of these. Here is where you can decide if you want to have something automatically move to the next stage when all of the tasks are complete. Now let's expand the first item here, contracts and tags. So here you are seeing the tasks. One is to simply apply a tag on the account. The other is to send out the contract. Now notice that the auto move here is selected on. This means that as soon as the tag is applied and the client signs a contract, it will automatically move to the next stage, which is obtain client documents. Now let's open that stage, and you'll see that it will automatically create an organizer and send it to the client. Also notice here that you can enable reminders. Right down here you see that it is currently disabled. You can enable reminders if you want to automatically ping your customer if they are not getting the work done that you need to have them get done for you. Again, since this is marked as an auto move, as soon as the client completes the organizer, it will move on to the next stage of prepare return, which will automatically create a task for somebody on your team to get started working with the 1040. Now, notice here that we have the auto move turned on. Well, let's turn it off for a second. Just to demonstrate that if it is off, this means someone will have to complete the task, but they will have to manually move it once it is complete. So again, what you're seeing here is, depending on how you want things to move through the pipeline, you can tell the system what to do. And the key is to automate as much as you can so no one is actually having to spend time on it. So let's go back here and we will move on. As each job works its way through the pipeline, you'll be able to see everything at a glance. You'll see the comments, you'll see the automations, you'll know exactly where each customer is within the process. Job cards are fully customizable, so you can see as much information in the pipeline as you need. For example, over here on the right, you can see due dates, job descriptions, priority, and so on. Now, jobs may include linked items such as organizers, contracts, invoices, or even documents. Some of them are linked automatically when automations are triggered. Some of them can be added manually. For example, you can link account notes, documents pending signatures, and so on. And as a side note, we have added @ mentions to jobs, meaning you can mention somebody's name in a comment by putting an @ symbol in front of their name so they can get notified. So that's it for the overview. Now, how do you get all of this up and running? Well, we have a few ways, but it starts with creating that pipeline template. All of the automations we've mentioned start by creating a template first, then repeating that template for each job. Of course, you can create all of these from scratch, and some people prefer to do that. But if you wanted a jumpstart, we have a template library that will get you started quicker. We have templates for pipelines, tasks, contracts, emails, and much more. We really give you a lot to get you started quickly. In fact, let me show you very quickly what that looks like. Let's go back to our portal here. And once again, let's click on Settings. And at the top of the page, you will see Templates. If I click on that, look at everything that we have here. We have tasks, emails, jobs, a bunch of different templates right here, contracts, messages, organizers. We've got a bunch of information up here. But please note that we are periodically adding more templates as well based on the feedback that we receive from customers. So as you check this out later, you might see some that you didn't notice earlier. So it all begins with mapping out that process. Our recommendation to get going? Well, first sit down and map out the whole process on paper. Write down every little thing that needs to be done and the order in which it needs to be completed. Who is supposed to do what? When should it be done? All of that, get it all down on paper. Then you divide up that big list of items into buckets or stages. You'll eventually be creating pipelines that do include these stages. Next up, decide if you want to auto-move things or if you'd like to manually check the items. And that's, again, all up to how you want to do things. And finally, keep fine-tuning it. Odds are very good that you'll forget a step or an item that is on your to-do list. So again, keep tweaking it, and in time, you will have a fine-tuned pipeline that will vastly improve your productivity in your office. Let me show you here some examples of what that would look like. What you're seeing here is an example of a pipeline and all of the stages that they have put together. You'll see that some are set to auto move while others are not. Again, it's entirely up to you and what works best for you. We are not here to tell you how to do things within your office. This is all about what you need to do and automating it. Here's another example. And in this case, When a client completes the organizer and signs the contracts, this job is set to automatically move on to the next stage, and you see that in the upper right. And what if you want to have your jobs repeat weekly, bi-weekly, or monthly? That is where our recurring jobs feature comes into play. So for example, you have a customer that has a monthly bookkeeping job that needs to start on the second Monday of each month, and you'd like to have that job appear automatically. Maybe you need your quarterly tax filing customers' jobs appear automatically for you so you don't forget. You can even set up an annual tax return job so you'll never again forget about those customers that you might only speak to once a year. You have the ability to set up a job schedule inside a specific pipeline. Simply specify the accounts that the job will apply to, and the new jobs will appear automatically, so nobody has to set reminders to add to that pipeline. It's all automatic. And you can automate it even more by specifying the default job template that will be used for all jobs automatically created in this pipeline. And that is really it for our deep dive into creating pipelines. But as I promised, I wanted to wrap things up by showing you how you can add multiple customers to a job all at once by using our bulk actions. Now, if you have attended our overview webinar, you've already seen this. But for those of you that haven't, you have the option to add many customers to a new job all at the same time. Simply select your clients, click Add Job at the top of the screen, select Job Template, and everything gets started. You can also use our bulk actions to edit tasks, assign team members, or send out bulk emails. The bulk actions feature will really let you start streamlining a lot of this tedious work. And with that, everybody, we have just wrapped up our topic for today. But again, a final reminder that we do have webinars on different topics, so feel free to register for those or check out the recordings that we have online. And with that, everybody, we're going to go ahead and wrap up our webinar for today. Once again, everybody, thank you very much for joining us. We certainly hope you found this beneficial and very informative. Now, of course, if you do have any questions once we sign off for today, feel free to reach out to our team. We will be happy to answer any questions that you have. So that's all for today, folks. Thank you once again for joining us. And from all of us here at the TaxDome team, we certainly do hope you have a great week ahead. Thanks very much, everybody. Have a great rest of your day.